What do you call a remote? What do you call a remote control in your house?
We genuinely just call it the remote.
Yeah, remote.
Yeah.
Or,
I know there's lots of different names for it.
yeah, remote.
Seriously, both of you just call it the fucking remote.
Yeah. I think my mum sometimes just calls it moat. Like,
Remote.
she like gets rid of the first syllable, so it's just moat.
Okay, yeah.
Like, where's the moat?
Might call it the ting
Or-
every now and again.
The ting.
Pass me the ting.
Oh, right, yeah, it's like a little... Yeah.
Yeah.
But apart from that,
What about you? What do you
I
call it?
remember people at school used to call it buttons and that.
Buttons. I think my nan calls it buttons.
Yeah.
Mm.
But we used to call it the hoofer doofer.
That's a new one.
Yeah, I know.
That sounds more like a Hoover.
I don't know if my dad just made that up and was just being an idiot.
Hoofer,
But like for years, you know, it was one of those things like I just, it was called the hoofer doofer.
Yeah.
Like, pass me, I know that.
Did you go around your friend's house and ask?
Yeah, probably. Like get the old hoofer. Where's the hoofer doofer? Yeah, but like the clicker. Some people call it the clicker.
Yeah, there's so many different names for a remote.
Buttons.
Buttons and clicker.
I've never heard
Zapper.
I've never heard buttons or
I
zapper.
think buttons.
Never heard zapper?
No,
Or buttons?
just remote.
I've heard, zapper.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Moat control.
or the ting. Moat.
I'm pretty sure that's how my mum says moat control.
Moat.
Yeah. She's just getting rid of the r.
It's just,
remote.
just pure.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I don't know of anything else.
do you think I was about to say there's some kids that don't even know what a remote control is, but that's not the case, is it? You still need a remote control to turn your TV on, even if you
Yeah.
even if you don't use
Yeah.
it.
Just in case you don't know what we're talking about, there's a strange thing called the
Devices,
television.
right,
Yeah, I mean, there might be families that basically never watch a TV and just are like iPad families.
Mm.
That could be a thing.
Yeah, it could be, couldn't it?
That was
Or if
always
they've-
when I was growing up and you went around someone's house and they didn't have a TV.
Did that happen? That
I
happened.
had a few people.
Yeah.
Well, you were posh, weren't you?
Yeah.
Probably.
Like, explain. Like, so
Yeah.
what did they have?
What do you
It's
point the
nothing.
furniture at? That's always the question.
Yeah.
I can't remember the layout, but they just didn't have a TV. No TV in the house.
The whole house.
There was one girl that was famous. Well, not famous. But she was like renowned for the fact that
But not having
there
a
was no TV. Like she wasn't allowed to use a television. Didn't really like going around people's houses. No one was really allowed around there as well. I
Wow.
just don't think they had a lot of fun. They were quite Christian.
Mm.
No
Oh, yeah.
offense to any
I was
Christians.
about to say, they had loads of fun, but like, there's a song that's it's an Irish song, and it's like in the chorus, it's about a guy remembering the good times of music at his father's house, called "In My Father's House," and it's like, "In my father's house, we was poor but rich in love. No TVs, but music there was plenty of."
Beautiful.
Nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite nice.
But yeah, I never really knew anyone without a TV.
yeah.
I mean, my mate James only recently got a TV in his house,
Oh.
but I think that was more out of laziness than design.
yeah.
Just hadn't got around to it yet.
It's not like he never had a TV.
Nah,
though.
yeah, his parents had a TV. It's like his new house, and he just kind of would like play on the decks. It was mostly what he does.
Yeah.
But he's got one now, so
At least he had something else to do.
yeah.
I heard something then.
Well, welcome to episode 97 of the Curios cast.
Getting closer and closer.
I think we're talking about some. I don't actually know what we're talking about today. Something spooky or
Well, a little bit spooky.
Weird. It's
Not
certainly
too spooky.
curios.
It's certainly curios, yeah.
I can't wait to nod off.
Yeah.
Viewers, look at
This might be a nod off episode.
No, we're engaged.
Yeah, I'm fully engaged. Me and Brian Cooler.
Hold him up to the camera.
We got this on a a gig. But it was a gig. We went up to Scotland and back in one day. Went to Glen Eagles Hotel, and we were fucking idiots at the time and thought that it was a good idea to go there and back because we were like, we don't want to pay for a hotel and spend all that money. We'll just take all the money for the gig. But fucking meant it was horrible.
Yeah.
And it was a good gig. We had like the bride crowd surfed, I think, and they gave us really good food. It was Glen Eagles Hotel, like where they do the golf. It was right posh.
I don't know.
Yeah, but anyway. But it was properly Scotland. Like someone that was playing at Tea in the Park was staying at the hotel, like Ed Sheeran or something, maybe. Like at the time we were playing, like they sort of not supposed to tell you, but Ed Sheeran's it, like or someone that's headlining, Tea in the Park, and it's one person with an acoustic guitar or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, but so we all were a bit delirious, like halfway. But I think I bought this on the way up there because I was like, I want some sort of pillow.
Yeah.
I realised I didn't have it. I'm going to get. I had it in my head because you always see them at the service station.
Yeah.
You?
For the listeners, what is this?
And
for me, because I can't.
Yeah.
I can't
What do you mean you always see them at the first service station?
Do you never seen these? These are always, they only exist at service stations, and they're weird. Like, look, you can like put your hands through it. So I don't know if it's like a
keeps your
hand warmer, but like you can also like.
Lay on it.
I don't know, like lay on it, and I mean, you can fuck it.
You still haven't described what it is.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's supposed to be like a dog.
It's definitely not a dog.
Is it not a dog?
It looks like a mouse mixed with a mole.
It's got like it's fat. It's like a big cushiony thing. It's got big ears
And a weird nose.
and it kind of got like a dog face.
It's not a dog face.
Kind of, it is. Look, if you just look at it like that, it's like a St. Bernard or something. Like,
Yeah.
kinda, but it's not.
It looks
Is
a bit
it?
like a moomin.
Yeah,
I don't know,
what
but
animal is
you,
that?
you do get them. They're different kinds of animals, but I don't know what the fuck. We called it Bwancula for some reason. But and we decided, like in our sort of like sleep deprived, delirious state, that he crawls in on you when you're asleep and like kills your family or something, and then for some reason all he could say was "I'm okay." I don't know. And we thought it was hilarious at the time at like fucking 6 a.m. after no sleep.
Had to be there.
Yeah, you very, very much had to be there.
Well, from one spooky little devil to what's been called Britain's Roswell incident.
Oh, this does ring a bell.
It does.
I think
ring a
we
bell. We know someone that's been to visit it.
I don't think.
Well, I've been to visit it.
Oh yeah, I know who we know.
We know someone else as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, do we?
yeah.
Okay,
I don't know how to tell you without saying.
Yeah.
give me a clue.
A colleague, an old colleague.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we're talking.
Yeah, we haven't spoke about this on an episode.
I think we've mentioned it in passing.
I know you've mentioned it to like us off air, saying we should go here.
Yeah, okay.
All right, we're not spoken about it.
Anyway, so listeners,
I don't know anything about it.
Today we're going to be talking somewhat vaguely about the Rendlesham Forest incident, which, as I said, has become known as Britain's Roswell. So,
Don't know what that was.
this is I'll give you a little. I'll be a bit more cinematic rather than tell you exactly what happened at first.
Okay.
So, on the 28th of December, 1980, around 3:00 in the morning, security patrol near the east gate of RAF Woodbridge, which was a RAF base in Rendlesham Forest, which was at the time being used by the American Air Force. So it wasn't like a RAF base; it was an American air base. So it was American troops, blah blah blah, all around it.
Yeah.
And it was still being used because it was during the Cold War.
Okay.
So a security patrol near the gate of RAF Woodbridge saw lights apparently descending into nearby Rendlesham Forest. Servicemen initially thought it was a downed aircraft, but upon entering the forest to investigate, they saw what they described as a glowing object, metallic in appearance, with coloured lights around the edge. As they attempted to approach the object, it appeared to move through the trees. They followed the object through the trees, and animals on a nearby farm began to go into a frenzy, and they broke out of the field. It doesn't say what animals they were. Assuming pigs, sheep.
How'd they get out?
Livestock of some kind.
Livestock, yeah.
Hmm.
One of the servicemen, Sergeant Jim Penniston, stated that he encountered a craft of unknown origin whilst in the forest. Shortly after 4 a.m, local police were called to the scene, but they reported that the only lights they could see were those from the nearby Orford Ness Lighthouse, which was further along the coast. So Rendlesham Forest is in Suffolk, in the UK, and it's close to the coast. I think it sort of slopes down, so you can see the flash of the lighthouse, which is no longer there.
Right.
Sometimes. So anyway, the police said,
Nah.
can't see anything. It's just the lighthouse. Can't see anything at all.
Yeah.
So after daybreak, I think they went out a few different times into the forest. They'd return back to the base, but then they'd be sent out again because they had reports of lights, and people could see something moving in the trees. After daybreak on the morning of the 26th of December, it's Boxing Day, right?
It
Well, you said
is.
this happened on the 28th.
26th, sorry. Yeah, that was my mistake.
Okay.
26th of December. They
Good
returned.
remembering, though.
Yeah, well done.
Hmm.
They returned to a small clearing near the eastern edge of the forest where they had been the night before and found 3 small impressions on the ground in a triangular pattern, as well as burn marks and broken branches on nearby trees.
See, this is ringing a bell, but I think it's because it's kind of a tale as old of time as like a UFO story. Like,
similar to every other UFO
yeah,
story.
another UFO story you've told has got the same.
But is that not, there's not point to something going on?
Yeah.
So they called the local police back again, and they took photos of the impressions.
Why the army calling the police?
So, because it's an American airbase, they can't do anything outside of. Well, it's a British army base, but the Americans are there.
Yeah.
They can't do anything outside of the airbase. So their jurisdiction ends at the gates of the airbase.
Okay. Yeah, it made me think. Yeah, well, yeah, I guess that makes sense. But it made me. You know, like in the other UFO story where they like called the police. Like, why did I like? This makes more sense that the army would have to call the police because they're also like official people.
Which one?
But remember, I don't know. Some other one, probably the one that someone commented and saying you don't know the facts, man.
Oh, Travis.
It was like, why do people?
Yeah, but he
why
disappeared.
would you think? Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Remember that? Well, other times when it's like they saw an egg shape, a pancake.
Yeah, they said.
Yeah, they're like,
I can see crazy lights in the
why would
sky.
you call the police?
Yeah.
Why would that be your first thing to do?
Yeah.
Because people are scared.
Police had
maybe.
several reports that night of lights.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Police get all kinds of things called, don't
Yeah.
they? Like,
Mate, I guess if you're scared,
yeah,
who'd you call? Who are you going to call?
the police.
Yeah. Yeah, so the police turned up again. They were called and they had to investigate. So I think at the time the Americans, they couldn't legally do anything outside of the airbase. So the police came again. They saw the impressions, but they said, "Oh, it's probably just an animal that that's would dig in or something like that. Might have been a rabbit."
Yeah.
Anyway, so then when a couple of more days went by, the police made an official log. They started getting reports that
Don't know how I found that.
well, made an official log.
Yeah.
They started getting reports
Really
from
pathetic thing to find funny.
people in the local area
Okay.
that night had were querying lights in the sky. They thought they'd seen something in the sky.
Mm.
Obviously, there was the thing about the animals going crazy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, a few days later, on the 28th of December, the base commander, the American air base, he'd been obviously assessing the report taken on the 26th, so a couple of days earlier, and they saw the lights again. So that night, servicemen reported seeing more lights in the forest. So he went out with a few army guys or whatever, Air Force guys, and they went out into the forest to investigate. They also took a radiation reader.
A Geiger counter.
Geiger counter, that's exactly it.
Really pleased myself there, wasn't I?
count those Geigers.
Yeah.
So because they wanted to read radiation in the area, I guess they were going at it more from like a making sure it's not like the Russians or the communists have got something, blah blah blah. So they used a standard US military radiation meter. And this is what I don't really understand. I don't understand whether this is showing that there was a spike in radiation or not, because it says they recorded 0.7 millirontgens per hour. In other regions, they detected 0.03 to 0.04 millirontgens per hour around the radiation level.
We don't know.
Around the background level, sorry.
We don't know what... Oh, around the background.
So I'm assuming it's 0.3 to 0.3 above 0.07, so about 0.10 rontgens per hour.
No, you said around... Is that not saying it's around the background, around a normal level? Is that not saying that? Is it not saying that?
But it says, although they recorded 0.07 millirontgens per hour, in other regions they detected 0.03 to 0.04 millirontgens per hour around the background level. So is that saying that the background level is around 0.0?
I think
That's
so,
what
yeah.
I think it's saying.
It's
Usually 0.03 to 4.
Okay.
But in this
And now
particular
it's
area, it was 0.07.
Okay, that makes sense, because it confused me.
Yeah.
So there was it appears to be a not a huge spike, but a spike in radiation around this area where there was the depressions in the ground and like the marks and stuff like that. So when they were out in the forest, the commander, who was a guy called Lieutenant Colonel Charles Holt, he decided to record everything on a voice recorder. So there's a 17-minute voice recording of this guy, like this team out in the woods in Suffolk.
And we'll play those 17 minutes for you.
No, they won't. We won't. There'll be like.
Have you listened to it all?
I've not listened to it all, but I've listened to. There's like a edited version where because a lot of it is just like you hear vague talking and people crunching through leaves and shit. And it basically just details them taking the readings, reporting they can see lights, and then they're following these lights through the forest, and the lieutenant colonel is basically commentating as they go through.
All right.
Yeah, so it's on tape. Lieutenant
vlogging,
Colonel,
basically.
Yeah, an early form of vlogging. Old school vlogging.
Just logging.
Hey guys, we're out in the forest. Smash that like and subscribe. Stick around to the end. There might be an alien.
I like that's basically like us saying a map is like it's like printed Google Maps.
Yeah.
Early vlogging. No, it's just reporting.
Yeah. From the field. So they were going out. They also detected a similar burst of radiation about half a mile away from the landing site. But what happened is, as they were out, they saw another light moving away from them in the forest. So they started moving towards this light and this object that was moving through the trees, and it detected another spike of radiation as they were moving through.
You probably said at the beginning. What year was this?
1980.
Okay.
Yeah. So during this part of their investigation, they started seeing a flashing light across the field to the east, almost in line with a farmhouse. The same as what the witnesses had seen on the first night.
Yeah.
And this flashing light is where a lot of people say it's the lighthouse. Because it's east of the,
you're just seeing the lighthouse.
They also reported seeing hovering lights in the sky above the tree line that seemed to dip up and above the trees and then down below the trees as well. And these are some skeptics. These skeptics, they've said that they were just bright stars for the evening.
Okay.
They have to be really bright for it to be noticeable, though, surely.
Yeah, remember that story when that guy, policeman or something, being chased by UFO and it was the moon.
Yeah, I think one of you wasn't on the episode. We had Luke instead.
Yeah, I think it was. I think I was on it.
You was on it. Yeah, it was a police officer, and she was being chased by what she thought was a UFO.
Yeah, it was. Then let's be the moon.
It was brilliant.
It was a planet. It was Jupiter.
Oh well, yeah.
So it was just a star.
I mean, it can be quite bright, but
yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily get scared by a light in the sky. Would you get scared? Like if
I don't know.
Depends how big it is.
Yeah.
If it's the size.
Yeah, if it was fucking huge.
Yeah.
Well, it depends how high I was.
Well, yeah, that's true. So the main evidence for this story came from the recording, and he actually made like an official report. So he officially stated, after going back to the base, they recorded all these lights, and they saw these things moving through the trees, and obviously the radiation spikes and things like that. And this lieutenant colonel made an official report stating that he believed there's obviously he said an unexplained flying object in the trees around the base on the night of the 26th and the 28th.
An unidentified aerial phenomena.
Yeah, they've changed it.
So, yeah.
UAP.
Yeah.
Why did they change it?
Maybe
I guess because it might not be flying. It might not even be an object. It might just be like an optical illusion or something.
Yeah.
So aerial phenomena is more accurate. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think there's that one of the famous ones that's like a triangle.
Yeah.
And I think they're pretty confident now that it's just like some camera lenses, if light hits it in like a very specific way, can produce those like weird triangles, and they've kind of replicated it. So it might not have even been anything at all. Like there's no physical object there. It was just light coming in weird. So UAP, I guess, makes sense.
Yeah.
Not as cool though. People are still going to call it UFO.
Yeah.
Maybe it's also to stop. They don't like saying you've seen a UFO.
I think it was, that was part of people said when you could come out and make these news announcements that there's an unidentified area phenomena and not say there's definitely a UFO.
Yeah. So anyway, this base commander, he went on record to state that he believes he witnessed an extraterrestrial event that has since been covered up. So he stated that, I think at the time, and then about a year later, 2 years later, his report was publicly released. At the time, it was covered up because he was in the military, blah, 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 whatever. But he's since gone on repeatedly to state that he believes it was an extraterrestrial event that he believes is a cover-up between the US and the UK governments. There were further eyewitnesses. You right there, Rob?
You're right.
Yeah, I can hear that fucking noise. The aliens are onto us for this one. They're listening in. It's fine.
Yeah, I guess apologies if you can.
Yeah, apologies if you can hear a weird ticking noise, listeners. Hopefully I've edited it out.
Yeah,
but it's pissing me off. there's an interdimensional being.
I tell you what, one good thing is that you're not going to fall asleep.
No, yeah, that's true.
You're going to be on edge. Yeah. So there were a few other eyewitnesses that weren't related to the airbase around the area. What's that? Is that a belly or a blow off? Oh. There were a few more eyewitnesses in the local area that also reported strange things going on. A few people reported hearing a noise like a woman screaming or like a high pitched. Yeah. I guess like that.
That was not like that.
I was just giving context. Yeah.
Listeners, it could have sounded like that. Yeah, that's probably that's probably more. You might need to put a warning on the.
That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, probably more like Rob's one, like a high pitched screaming noise, and that local farmers reported that their animals were distressed and very noisy and distressed. Exactly. Yeah. Do you reckon they kept monkeys in the in Rendlesham Forest?
I'm not sure what that's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Shit, wasn't it? Right, once in school, right?
Yeah.
On the school bus, we went past a horse box, and I went up to the window, and I made this horse sound at it, and it was a perfect horse sound.
Yeah.
Came at me. It was like it was the most perfect horse sound I've never been able to do it since.
Yeah.
My mate Dan used to be able to do perfect horse sound.
I never did before or since.
Because you got to get the from the lips, and you've also got to get the like. I can't do it.
Yeah,
I can't, and I couldn't.
Yeah.
But then I did. I saw the horse
when the moment comes.
No,
yeah.
I've tried since.
Did the horse respond?
No, we were on a bus.
Oh, I thought you were
past the
walking
horse box.
past.
No, I was on a bus going past the horse box, and we were like up the side of it, and I just sort of opened the window and was like, I don't know, making a horse noise at it, and just this perfect horse noise.
Try it now.
I don't know. I'm like not even close. Not even close.
That's more like Scooby Doo.
Yeah, I can do a good sheep.
Yeah.
I need to summon it a sec.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I really wasn't expecting that. That's brilliant.
I done a really good goose the other day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
It's like a honk, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's not good.
Could you see a goose at the time when you did it?
Yeah.
See, sometimes you need to see it.
You need
Yeah.
to visualise it.
I can't do it.
No, you need to see it.
Can you do your stag noise again? That sheep was really good.
Yeah.
I've got a similar kind of thing with accents. I'm really bad at accents. If you tell me to do one, it will come out badly.
Yeah.
But if I'm engrossed in like telling a story and I'm telling a story about someone who had an accent and I like just without even hesitating try it, it comes out pretty good.
Yeah.
But it's so rare because then I start overthinking it. I'm like, oh, and then he said it in my mind. I'm like, oh, the accent's coming up. Do I do it or do I not?
Is it
if I just naturally, if I just do it in conversation, it comes out pretty good. But that's like 2% of the time I try an accent. The rest is awful.
Yeah.
Well, I've stopped doing. I used to do a hillbilly accent when we were talking about Bigfoot, but I stopped doing that now, didn't I?
Offensive.
Yeah, I didn't want to offend our US listeners. But well done on the sheep impression. I'm genuinely impressed by
that.
That
was the only good one you've done.
I don't think I could do a horse.
Go on, give it a go. I was really hoping it was going to be like really shit. Like,
I was hoping it'd be perfect.
Nay.
Yeah, or just perfect. Yeah.
What was that?
That was shit.
Okay. A little blow off. Still hear that click.
Yeah, fuck the click.
Yeah, so this caused a bit of a stir at the time, the Rendlesham Forest incident. So it was reported in the newspapers. Bit of sarcasm over there.
No, just
reported in the newspapers. I think one of the headlines, like the Daily Mail or something, was
Wales Online.
Wales Online.
Wales Offline. Yeah.
Wales Offline.
Wales, just called Wales at the time.
They had photographs from the clearing and blah blah blah, and they did like a good clickbaity headline, like they're here.
Pickbait.
Pickbait.
Was it called pick? Yeah, because you pick the paper up.
It might have been called pickbait. It's good.
It's good.
I wonder if that's been coined.
Yeah. Did you said about Wales Online? I've probably mentioned this before, but there used to be a shop at university in town. It was called halfpriceorless.com. That was the name of the shop. And there was no website.
What, in Grays?
No, in Lancaster.
Okay.
When I was at uni, and it was like in the town centre, inside the sort of indoor bit, and it was called halfpriceorless.com, and there was no website.
That's bizarre.
And half price compared to what?
I know. That's it didn't make sense. Like, where was it ever full price?
Yeah. That's brilliant.
Half price.
That should be more of a thing.
We used to go there quite a bit as well.
Yeah, there should be a thing.com. Like the shop name is like a website name. That'd be quite funny. I don't really know where I was going with that. I think I confused myself. I don't know what I was talking about. I don't know what I was talking about.
I don't know why.
It's just so shit. You do that sometimes. You just say it. I'm like, why are you saying that? Oh. I don't want to talk about Rendlesham Forest anymore. Oh, Jesus. Go on. What happened?
Well, not a lot else. So, obviously, after, RendleshamForest.com. So basically, it was in the newspapers as like the...
I'm crying.
It was in the newspapers. It was reported everywhere.
Yes.
Caused a bit of a stir. Rendlesham became a hot spot for all these UFO enthusiasts and stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, the fact it was on an American airbase as well made it a bit more mysterious, and all these conspiracies started to pop up.
Yeah.
But equally, a lot of skeptics started saying, "No, it's bullshit. We already know exactly what it is. Complete rubbish." And it's the lighthouse. Like I said, Alford Ness Lighthouse, which was this lighthouse. It got demolished now.
What, doesn't exist at all? Or it
doesn't exist. Yeah, for some reason, the National Trust or whoever owned it, they decided to remove it.
Well, that's suspicious as well.
Yeah, suspicious. But anyway, so people were saying,
don't lighthouses serve a purpose?
Well, this one was decommissioned, I think. Which is weird because the sea doesn't stop.
Yeah, the rocks have gone away.
Maybe it got replaced by something. I'm not too sure.
Because normally they're no longer manned, but they're still on. Obviously, they don't need someone to be there anymore.
Yeah,
most
I don't know why.
But then I guess a lot do also get decommissioned because people live in them, don't they?
Yeah,
when they're not.
But I mean, surely someone could have just carried that. It's quite a nice little place to live, a little artist's retreat or something. I don't know. Let
me see it. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe it.
Well, no, the actual lighthouse is gone.
Oh, it's
been completely removed.
Okay.
But anyway, so people, the skeptical analysis reported that the light was the lighthouse. If you were in a particular angle in the forest, there's like a particular gap where the lighthouse is directly visible through the trees. And on a clear day, with the right light conditions, they said as the light swung round, because some lighthouses apparently they only do like a I don't know what the degree,
like a semicircle or like a crescent or something.
So they aim for the sea, basically.
But the Alford Ness one, it did like a full loopity-loop.
Yeah, also do that, yeah.
So that was what they were saying. That's why it was flashing and why sometimes it was there, sometimes it wasn't. But
I mean, it's pretty logical.
But the American airman said definitely wasn't the lighthouse. Like, we'd seen the lighthouse before. We know what the lighthouse looks like.
And that'd be really obvious, right? Because it would be consistent. Like you'd see the
Yeah.
light, and then I don't know, 4 seconds later you'd see the
It would be
light
like a
again as it
time,
like
yeah.
goes
Yeah.
round.
Yeah.
And of the lighthouse, I think it was about 5 kilometers away, I believe.
And why would it be moving? Like, why is this object moving?
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause the light would just come from one place then if it was a lighthouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the lighthouse was about
Well, yeah.
5 kilometers away. 5 miles, sorry, 8 kilometers further east of the forest edge. Whereas the light that the soldiers were reporting and the people in the forest was much closer than that. Like it was close enough to them so they could see some sort of craft in the trees with the light emanating from it.
It could be like the light reflecting. I was going to say refracting. Reflecting.
Mm,
Bouncing around funny because there's some mist or something.
could be. Wasn't misty on the
That
night in
would be
question.
refracting.
wasn't
then. It was
Right, would be refracting. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it wasn't misty, no?
wasn't misty. It was a cold, clear night. Apparently. Yeah. So other analysis of explanations of the incident included a Soviet spy satellite, which was covered up by the US government. So they took the satellite back into the base, and it was all sort of covered up to stop like an escalation of the Cold War or something like that.
Yeah.
However, there's another scenario which is sort of thought as the most plausible explanation, which is a combination of 3 main factors. So the initial sighting at 3 a.m. on the 26th of December, when the airmen saw something ascending into the forest. So at first they saw a light and an object go down, which is why they thought, that's a bit weird. Something's landed. We need to investigate. Went out, and then they started seeing this object move through the trees.
So they thought it was Baby Jesus. Is this what
Baby Jesus came down into
Yeah.
Rendlesham.
26? Is day late?
Yeah, maybe it was just he'd forgotten something, so he had to pop back.
Yeah.
So at that time, there was a fireball over southern England,
Right.
which I've never really heard the term fireball.
Yeah. Do they
Like
mean a comet?
A comet or
The
a
sun.
meteor, I guess.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, the sun goes to sleep at night.
Yeah, maybe
he wasn't
maybe it
right.
was just early. I didn't realise.
Yeah. Sunrise.
Yeah, so it was reported as a fireball, but
It's a strange thing to call it.
I always thought it was just a
Comet.
yeah.
Yeah.
So apparently, such meteors are a common source of UFO reports, which sort of makes sense because
Yeah.
I think some of them, like the big one that Heaven's Gate thought was coming, that was like visible in the sky for like a few days, wasn't it?
Is it Hale Bop?
Hale Bob, like it was permanently. You
Yeah.
could just see it with like a sort of trail behind
It's
it.
a classic comet, wasn't it? The old Hale Bop.
Yeah.
Hale Bop, yeah.
Whereas most
Good
of them, they're just like a shooting star. You just
Yeah.
see it like in a blink of an eye or whatever.
Yeah.
Which I guess makes sense. You think, oh, that was weird. I just saw like something zoom across the sky.
Mm.
And if it lasts a bit longer than what you expect a shooting star to be, you'd think, yeah, something's moved there.
Yeah.
So yeah, in combination with this meteor, and then forest workers suggested that the marks in the where this craft apparently had landed were rabbit diggings, so just rabbits digging around.
Oh.
But they were very, very evenly placed.
Much less exciting.
Yeah, much less exciting. But the marks were in a triangular shape, very like evenly spaced, so they weren't just randomly.
Yeah, rabbits won't do that.
Yeah,
Don't know.
They don't know.
unless they were just like
Good.
hoaxing.
Yeah, rabbits fucking with us.
Yeah, and then obviously the other big one was the lighthouse. However, the biggest what like I guess UFO enthusiasts or supporters of it being like a UFO or extraterrestrial thing, they point to the fact that the colonel has never ever retracted his statements. Neither have the I think there was like maybe up to a dozen soldiers that went out into the forest, but the colonel in particular, he went on record, recorded and produced an actual report that he sent to his superiors. Like he didn't just keep it to himself.
Yeah.
Like he's been quite an outspoken
UFO man.
Yeah, advocate's probably the wrong word. But he keeps saying, no, this is what I saw. I've never changed my story. This is it. Blah, 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 blah. So people say, why would he do that?
Pro. Yeah. Alien.
Like he was in the army, in the Air Force. Why would he do that?
Mm.
And then one tiny extra caveat is that in the local area, people reported being visited by men in black.
Oh.
The classic turning up at your door and asking, did you see anything in the skies,
Oh,
over the weekend of the 26th of December? Then this was before it all was reported. Between the 26th and the 28th, people reported being asked by
okay.
like nondescript men, did you see anything in the sky? If you do remember anything, you need to let us know.
Look into this pen.
Yeah, look into this pen. And that's it.
That's good.
Now, Rendlesham Forest, the reason that I find it interesting is because Rendlesham Forest is quite a spooky place. Then if you've never been to Rendlesham
I've
Forest.
never been, but they've lent into it, haven't they? There's a whole UFO
there's
trail.
like a proper
there
UFO trail where you can go.
I'd like to
you
go.
can follow the. You can go through the forest and stop at the areas where they reported seeing, X-Men. Because
and see nothing.
yeah, and then you can see nothing.
Yeah,
But the actual forest has got like a really weird vibe about it. Like it's just quite a
weird
spooky,
energy, man.
weird energy. The airbase is still there, but it's not. It's disused now, so it's sort of just all overgrown and
creepy.
Kind of creepy. And Lynn and I, we camped just outside Rendlesham Forest probably about 6 years ago.
You've told us
5
this.
years
Carry
ago.
on, yeah.
And we saw a UFO sky. We saw a light, an unexplained light, Tom. Can you believe it? In the sky. Then we got it on video.
Did you really?
But I haven't got the video with me today. But because I
Really got a
forgot.
video?
So yeah, we've got like a video of this like light.
Put the video on the screen.
I'll find the video. So we were camping and stargazing, trying to see some shooting stars and that.
Yeah.
And I've got like a night sky app where it shows you where like
Yeah.
Jupiter is, blah blah blah, and then you can see like the ISS
Okay, yeah.
in the sky. So we'd been using that to look at a few planets and whatever, and then we saw this really bright light just traveling across the pretty quick in a straight line, slightly orange, just directly across. Looked like the ISS does. I don't know if you've ever seen that, like the space station fly over.
Yeah.
So it looks exactly like that, but big, like much bigger. Like the light was a lot bigger. And when I held the the thing up, there's nothing there. There's no other satellites.
Does it show comets, that thing? Though?
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
It does.
So it shows comets, satellites, space station, planets, anything. And there was nothing there. And we both watched it for, I don't know, it was probably 20 seconds. And it just went straight over and then disappeared. Just as it was like maybe...
But you managed to film it as well?
It's on film. 100%. If I've still got the film, which I'm pretty sure I have, I'll send it to you, Tom, and you can clip it in. Lynn will back me up as well. We both saw it. It was very, very strange, and it was right outside Rendlesham Forest, Britain's Roswell. Now, I'm not saying it's aliens. I'm not saying it's not. I just like the story. It's a very interesting, eerie story.
Yeah.
There are, on YouTube, there's interviews with the guy, this Charles Holt. And there's also people that have done more thorough investigations than I have, rather than just reading stuff that I've found online. And they, they've spoken to a lot of people involved in it, the police, local farmers and stuff like that. And the evidence doesn't really balance. It's not very balanced either way. So I encourage people, if you're interested in UFOs.
What do you mean it's not? You mean it doesn't lean one way or the other? It's fairly balanced.
You can't really definitively say, "Oh no, this must be it."
Yeah. Okay.
No, you can say, "Oh, it could be this meteor," but then
other things suggest.
it doesn't. Nothing fell in the forest. Blah blah blah. Could be rabbits. Could not be.
I like it, George.
Yeah, they're really getting bothered by this noise, aren't you?
Oh yeah, this noise has been fucking me off the whole time. But yeah, but I do like the story.
Thing is, even if it was an alien, they wouldn't tell us.
Exactly.
So
that's part of the whole
Charles
cover up thing.
Yeah.
He's just that one guy who they knew would not be able to keep a secret. So it landed.
Who?
Charles Holt, this guy.
Like the colonel.
Oh right,
the man we've been talking about.
His name had skipped me by. I thought we were talking about the king all of a sudden. I was like, why are we bringing up old Charlie boy?
No, they knew he wouldn't be able to keep a secret. They're like, he just wants to blab his mouth about everything. He can't keep anything under wraps here.
Yeah.
So it landed, and then he's like, I'm going to go investigate. And they're like, all right, off you go. It landed over there or whatever. And then, or they clear it all up, take the alien, underground.
Yeah.
And then they take Charles out. They're like, look, mate, nothing's here. some rabbit holes. And he's like, oh, I guess so. Because they know if they told him, he would be straight to Wales Online.
It could be. I reckon you've cracked it.
Mm.
But the MOD also had a file on it, and they did their own investigation. And they said, no, there's nothing.
Yeah, they're in on it as well.
Unexplained.
Yeah. All true.
Yeah. But I think at the time, there was a lot of UFO sightings globally, like the Phoenix Lights. I don't know if you heard of the Phoenix Lights. That was like a mass UFO sighting. Where
in Phoenix.
In Phoenix, in Arizona, US of A, where, yeah, like thousands of people reported seeing these formations of lights in the sky that the Air Force said we weren't doing anything weird that night, but
what they'd say.
And maybe it's all linked. Maybe something flew from Phoenix to Suffolk.
Yeah, could have done.
And caused some sheep to get a bit scared.
Banged through the dimensions, get there in a second.
Could have been the internet dimension. It could have been a Bigfoot. That's another thing that I'd like to bring up. It could have been a Bigfoot. Bigfoot live in forests. We know Bigfoot live in the UK because of that map. Many moons ago, we discussed that map.
Being believed.
So we know for a fact that they're a Bigfoot. They're big feet around in the UK. So it could be one in Suffolk. So if you're from Suffolk, if you've seen a Bigfoot or you've seen a UFO, let us know, and we'll send a research team out as soon as we can.
Big hype.
Yeah.
Thanks, George.
Hey, no worries. Don't have nightmares. I know it was a spooky story.
It was a spooky story. I'm nightmares about this fucking noise.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was a spooky forest or an alien forest. I thought it was a spooky forest. But
yeah, so it's more of an
alien forest.
It's a bit of a combination. Put it this way, I wouldn't want to be in the forest on my own at night.
I wouldn't want to be in most forests.
Yeah, most forests are kind of spooky and you're
at
night.
To be honest.
But yeah, spook.
Yeah, even just going out there for a piss is a bit spooky.
Yeah, it's quite spooky out there.
I
keep thinking that maybe there'll be a face at the window.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, I entirely block out all thoughts of that from
ever happening
because when sometimes I'm here on my own late at night and it's like you can't think like that.
Yeah,
because you can really fuck yourself up.
Yeah, you really fuck yourself up.
Spooky things. Have you ever done it before? I do it sometimes. It's always when I'm like at home on my own and or like the lights are off and stuff, and I don't know why I do it. I'm like, what's the scariest thing I can think of?
Yeah, purposely jig yourself out.
And then there's part of my brain that's saying like, don't do this because it's scary.
Yeah.
And then there's the other part of me that's like, but what is the scariest thing? Like,
well, I remember
what would really scare me.
I remember during like lockdown being in my flat, and it was all a bit weird, wasn't it? And like freaky, like but when it first happened, you didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
I lived in my flat, and then there was quiet. And it was quiet all around, you know, when it was, and then there was like these foxes fighting outside, and in my head, I made it like there were zombies. Yeah, and then I was just like looking out the window, like I may or may not have been a little bit high as well.
Yeah, may or may not.
Allegedly,
At my parents' house, they don't close their curtains like at night when they go to bed.
They're fucking psychopaths.
I know. So they've got like
the bedroom window.
No, the bedroom, but when they're sitting downstairs watching TV,
they're wide open.
They've got like patio doors, just wide open, and there's like a little side window.
Oh right, so it's out to the back garden.
Out to the back garden.
That's all right. I thought you meant out to the front. Like,
but I mean, it's still a bit weird. And when I'm sitting down and if you're watching TV, you're also looking just out into blackness, into the.
It's behind the TV.
It's sort of to the left of the TV.
Yeah. Right, yeah, okay. There's a bit free.
But there's a window, like a side on the side of the house that my sisters have always said they just hate the window. Like, they just don't like it creeps them out. Like, one time, I think I've told before, my sister heard someone knocked on the window when she was downstairs on her own, like and hid in the kitchen. She was like, someone definitely just knocked on the window. She was terrified. Like, she was terrified.
Yeah. Did it turn out
is it like an alley or something? Is it like...
Yeah, but it's closed off. There can't have been anyone down there.
Like a side gate type thing.
There's a side gate, but it's locked. And she
fucking rank.
Like, she definitely heard a knock on the window. She was terrified of it. But anyway, it's probably because I know she heard that noise. But now, whenever because I'm normally the last, well, we're staying with my parents now, but I'm the last to go to bed. I turn all the lights off.
Yeah.
But you have to go past the window, and I hate it. It's like giving myself out. When I go up the stairs back to the window, it's almost like I can feel
Yeah.
I can feel like I have to like scrunch my neck up
Yeah,
and
you're
run
like
into
imagining
the
some like a presence behind you.
Yeah.
Have you
it's
never like
horrible.
fucked with your sister and knocked on the window? Like?
No. The other day though, yesterday in fact, I was cooking.
Well done that.
I was cooking dinner, and there's it's not the window, but there's another window by the kitchen, and you open it up and you can lean out and put stuff in the bin where my parents keep their bins around the side.
Yeah.
So no, I was cooking, and I had like a couple of tins or whatever. Opened the window up, and I didn't know, but my dad had gone. He was outside, like potting around in the garden. And as I opened the window, he was down the side, and he just went, and I put his arm through the window,
Yes.
and I shit my pants.
Oh, that's good.
It was awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
Do you ever get really embarrassed about how you react to
Yeah.
like scary things like that? Like you always think
I've got a good one.
oh, you're like, you know, in an intruder situation, I'm the man and I need to take care of this.
Yeah.
Or like, I'd have to like, you know, give it back. And then someone makes you jump and you go, ah!
yeah, no chance. I had a girlfriend once. I like got out of the shower and for some reason thought that they were going to jump out at me. I don't know what, like maybe we'd been like jumping out at each other, like and, like doing that. So like, I was convinced. I got out of the shower and I was like, they're going to be hiding somewhere, and I couldn't find them, and it like fucked me up so much. That like I left the house. I don't know what I was doing. I was like, nah, like I'm just gonna like go out. I don't know what.
Were you calling out?
You what?
Were you calling out to them?
Yeah. And I was like, fuck you, like fuck you. You know, I know you're hiding.
Yeah.
Fuck you. And I was just like, oh, so I just decided to like get in my car. I don't know what I was thinking and going. I don't know why. I decided to leave and got in the car and drove down the street, and they were just like gone to the shop.
Brilliant.
We were going like, where the fuck are you going? And I was like, oh no. Like, I was gypped out.
I thought you were going to scare me.
Yeah.
That is a horrible feeling, though, isn't it? When you're sort of anticipating.
Like on edge.
Yeah. Awful. But yeah, I absolutely shat my pants yesterday.
No, that's a good one. Well done, Dad.
Yeah. So tonight when I get home, everyone will be in bed, and I'll have to walk past the window.
Fuck with them, yeah.
No, I won't. I won't be fucking with them. I'll be shitting my pants.
Oh right, because of the window. All right,
Yeah.
No, you should know. You got to get your dad back.
The spooky.
So you got to get your dad back. Does he know about the window?
He might have a heart attack.
Is he gypped? Yeah.
But he's not bothered.
That window
says
should
it's
have
bullshit.
blind.
Yeah, no. Well, there's curtains there. And when I was a bit younger, I'd be sitting down watching TV after they'd gone to bed. I used to close the curtains, and I used to get shouted at by my parents in the morning, or not shouted, but they'd be like, "Why are you closing the curtains?"
Yeah.
As I was doing something wrong, like probably having a wank or something.
Why have you got curtains?
Right.
Yeah, and they were like, "Why? Why would you not close the curtains? It's a weird alleyway on the side of the house.
Yeah.
It's dark." And Molly said that I've name dropped her. She heard knocking on the window. Why would you not fucking close the curtains?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's weird. I'm gonna freak myself out when I get home.
Yeah, good. Glad you done that.
Yeah.
All right. Hype.
Thanks for that one. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Hey, no worries.
Sorry about the noise if it's there.
Yeah. Curios meet up at Rendlesham Forest.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for that.
There is a good campsite there, actually. In the forest.
The bear me.
In your camper van.
Yeah.
Can you close all the curtains all around, though?
Yeah, you can.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's fine.
that'd be weird otherwise.
Yeah, that'd be spooky as well.
All right.
Cool.
Episode
97.